Welcome back. Thank you for checking out my channel. This is part of the series of In the Event of a Nuclear War, Will I Survive? And it's done more at a state level. Now in this video, I've actually combined a few areas just because of the close proximity. The main focus is going to be on New York City, or New York in general. Change the map style real fast here. And so, this is based on a 1200 warhead mixed counter-force counter-value strike by Russia against the United States. And give you an overall idea. These are going to be 800 kiloton warheads. Just kind of keeping it nice and simple. And they're going to be targeting key locations. Now, I'm included parts of northern New Jersey, as well as Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Massachusetts. Because of the close proximity, the urban areas, and the fallout's going to hit these zones anyways. Follow-on video is going to look at Pennsylvania, southern New Jersey, and then I'll do one for the north too. But this gives us a good broad breakdown. So what locations are being targeted? Glad you asked. Let's start giving you a quick peek here. So let's just start here. And I'm not going to cover every single target. Last video I actually showed myself setting all the targets, and I wanted to keep it a little more simple on this one. So, some high-level stuff. We have Air National Guard Base, West Hampton. We have Brookhaven National Laboratory. Another military base. Northport Power Station. We have 258th Artillery Regiment. We have JFK International Airport. Fort Hampton. Ton of places in Manhattan. You're going to have Federal Reserve Bank. You're going to have Titan Point. You're going to have New York Stock Exchange, 69th Regiment Armory, NASDAQ, Columbia University. I haven't mentioned it yet, but you also have, and this isn't necessarily Manhattan, but you have Ravenswood Generating Station. So again, it's going to be a mix of targets. You're going to have some universities, you're going to have power sites, you're going to have military bases, financial centers, ports. So crossing over here into, I don't know if it's New Jersey or not. Jersey City. Where is that? Yeah, it's New Jersey. Yeah, of course. Port of Banyan. I said that wrong too, but you know what? Sue me. So you got the port being targeted. I did not specifically target the Statue of Liberty, which is right there, but we have the Capitol, Newark being targeted. We have 102nd Cavalry Regiment, 113th Infantry Regiment, Morristown is not being targeted, but we have, which one is that? That is going to be the Picatinny Arsenal. Let's come up here a little north. West Point, U.S. Military Academy, Camp Smith. New York Stewart International Airport. LaGuardia is also targeted. Trying to keep it mostly to the New York area. What else do we have? Sorry, 42nd Combat Aviation Brigade. Let's see here. Crazy cat in the background. Naval Support Activity, Saratoga Springs. Knowles Atomic Power Laboratory. Go over here. Eastern Air Defense Sector Command. Lockheed Martin, Liverpool. Hancock Field Air National Base. Harbor Power LLC. Cornell University. Lockheed Martin. (108th) Infantry Regiment. So pull this in the side here. You got Fort Drum up here. You got what we have by got a little ahead of myself here. So Buffalo, you got Tesla Factory. You got Niagara Falls Air Reserve Station. 101st Cavalry Regiment. Stanford, another economic financial center. New Haven. Where do we got in New Haven? Lockheed Martin and Stratford, sorry. 102nd Infantry Regiment, Yale University, General Dynamics, Electric Boat, Naval Submarine Base, New London. Over there by Hartford, you got Colt Defense, Connecticut Army National Guard headquarters, Capital. All right, I said Colt Defense. Let's see here. Barnes Air National Base. We have Westover Air Reserve Base. We have Worcester. 181st Regiment. U.S. Army Natick Soldier Systems Center. We're looking in Massachusetts now. We got MIT Lincoln Laboratory. We got, what's that other one by there? Hascon Air Force Base. Harvard University. Got Boston itself targeted. State House. That airport. What is that? Boston Logan International Airport. Exelon Mystic Station. Sounds like some on a Star Trek. Sorry, I'm actually scrolling, hitting both my windows at once. Let me zoom in a little bit. So we got Providence. We got the 103rd Field Artillery Regiment. State House. Rhode Island National Guard Joint Force Headquarters. Camp Fogarty. Air National Guard Base there by North Kingston. Naval War College Museum by Newport. Naval Station, Newport, Rhode Island. Joint Base Cape Cod. Cape Cod Air Force Station. And I think I said 101st Air. All right, so that should give you a rough idea here of the different locations targeted in this joint force attack. So let's go ahead, run the simulation now. And while we're waiting, we'll go ahead and take a look here where they're coming from. Starting to light up. Here, let me slow it down a little bit. Let me take these attack plans off, by the way. So the interesting thing is they're going to fire, and intercontinental ballistic missiles have a 3 kind of phase arc. Keep it very simple. It goes up out of the atmosphere, it travels around, and then it enters back into the atmosphere. That last part, they call that the terminal phase. It's traveling extremely, extremely fast. So these are very, very difficult to intercept. Your best bet, realistically, is a mid-course interception as it's traveling around. Of course, you could hit it as it's going up, but you have to have stuff in position to be able to do that. And as far as we know, we don't have a brilliant pebble system. I'm going to make a video about that, but it's probably the only viable safeguard against an all-out nuclear attack. When people say, you're saying nuclear instead of nuclear. I don't care, by the way. I pronounce a lot of stuff wrong. But it's probably the only viable one. I'm going to make a video about it. It's not in place, but it's one thing that could potentially safeguard against an all-out attack. But our current system, the ground-based mid-course interceptors, there's 44 interceptors in Alaska with some in California. Even just looking at one state here, it wouldn't be able to stop this incoming attack, let alone a mass attack. So it's kind of slow, right? But I mean, it's even being just a simulation, there's a level of anticipation. Just seeing these coming across, knowing the kind of devastation they could wreak. If this was real, the amount of panic that would set in, and there's just an inevitability of being unable to stop it. Thankfully, it's just a simulation. And like all simulations, they are not perfect, but it'll give you some kind of idea, survivability, and where would be the best locations to be in if there was an attack. We see stuff landing now. Now in the simulation, there is built-in failures. So every type of missile type has a certain percentage to fail rate. So not everything is always going to land, nor is it always going to land exactly where you target. There's accuracy things too, but let's take a look. Switch to the United States. Calculate casualties. Okay. So just in this condensed area, 14 million casualties. 4.4% of the U.S. population. And that's in New York, North New Jersey, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Connecticut. Of course, fallout's going to travel a little, you might hit a little bit of a few other places, but including 3,000 Canadians. So, or as they like to say, the 51st state. That's a joke, by the way. I know that's a little tense subject right now for some people. I think it's just the equivalent of online shit posting when people, stuff like that, but kind of keep that real world stuff out of it. I only like to focus on uplifting things like nuclear annihilation, not real world politics, which is depressing. So it didn't calculate the loss of any refining capacity. Did have power plants destroyed, power generation destroyed, 6 airports destroyed, 81 hospitals, 13 harbors. We look at fatalities. On top of the 14 million that would die instantly or relatively instantly, you have another 1.3 million that would have long-term cancer fatalities. 107,000 square kilometer evacuation. And this is looking at casualty densities here. Give you an idea, but let's take a look at fallout first on the short term. So the one big benefit, the concentration of attacks along the East Coast. Fallout's generally going to travel in a pattern of wind because of normal wind patterns. It's going to mostly land into the ocean. I mean, it's not a great thing, but versus a western pattern, which would have landed back here. Now, having said that, when you look at these other areas that will be targeted, you're going to see, you'd have still coverage here. But this can give you a certain amount of idea, and this is short term, and this is long term. So I don't think this would come as any surprise. If you live in one of the 5 boroughs, you're not going to survive. Even if you did survive the initial blast, the fallout will get you the lack of food, people killing each other for what little supplies there'd be. You're not going to get help in there. So you're not going to survive. That's just point blank. Newark, New Jersey area, you're in the same boat. Nobody in this zone is going to survive. Even people here wouldn't be directly affected by the fallout and the radiation. Your chances of survival is going to be very, very low because supplies, stuff coming in, it's all going to be cut off. There's going to be no medical care. So if you have any type of medical condition, you won't get that care and you're going to die. You see here, these avenues. I mean, this is going to be, look at this. From here all the way over, you'll be at just almost total loss. It's going to get into a few other states here. So where's your best chances of survival? In New York, let me switch back to the other map. Probably, somewhere in this zone here. And if you're well stocked, now, again, an all-out attack on the United States, there'd be stuff hitting here and here. They'd likely get maybe Canada too, at least to some extent. I wouldn't be surprised, but clearly here. So I would say this area right here and some of this stuff up here in this most northern part. But that would probably seem like your best zone for survival. Poughkeepsie, I think that's where, what's that little dwarf girl on Jersey Shore? It's from there. Can't remember her name. If you can remember her name, leave me a comment below. I can't remember her name, which is funny. Not Sammy. Sammy was the one that was always having the fights. Anyways, long story short, with the urban kind of density and stuff and the high profile targets that are all around this area, your likelihood in New England is going to be very, very low for survival. Not going to come as a big shock. And the thing is, for those who survive here, people that do manage to survive in some of these zones are probably going to try to make their way here. And so there's going to be a fight for supplies, shelter, all those different things that people need to live. And so if you're in this zone and you want to survive, you'd better be well stocked and have something that's well concealed hard to find from people. So two things, well stocked and well concealed. Most people aren't going to have those two things combined. Or form some type of, defensive association with your community to protect yourself. Because it's going to be kind of like maybe the Road Warrior movie, Mad Max 2. So that's it. So stay tuned. There's going to be some more videos. Appreciate you checking out the channel. I'm going to be doing some other states, but then there's also going to be some more long form videos like, what if the Korean War went hot with atomic weapons? If MacArthur had gotten his wish, and even looking at a potential Able Archer, if that went hot in 1983 at the height, that's going to take quite a bit of work. So I'm working on it, but that's going to be a slower one. So stay tuned. Appreciate it. Have a great night, everybody.